And talking of diplomacy, or the end of it now, thanks to China's wolf warriors. Who are they? Your everyday diplomats. Adults who, instead of fostering dialogue, have turned into megaphones for Chinese narrative. These diplomats are ensuring that China's will is enforced across the world. They're spreading hoaxes, attacking anybody who questions them. Tonight, we've decided to name and shame these so-called wolf warriors.
They are abrasive. They are combative. They are fueling propaganda. And they have done away with diplomacy. From Asia to Europe, from Australia to Africa, China's representatives have set off diplomatic firestorms. They have replaced courtesy with coercion. These diplomats belong to a new generation of wolf warriors. They have been named after patriotic blockbuster films in China. Films which show Chinese commandos killing the bad guys with bare hands. In reality, Chinese diplomats are anything but diplomatic. Zhao Lijian, a young foreign affairs spokesperson, is the quintessential wolf warrior. With over 600,000 followers on Twitter, Zhao Lijian knows how to exploit his audience. He tweets consistently, peddles lies relentlessly, backtracks repeatedly, and will block you when confronted.
The question I raised on my personal Twitter account was only a response to the stigmatization of China by some US politicians.
Chinese diplomats across the world are following in the footsteps of this pioneer. Zhao Liu is the Chinese Consul General to Kolkata, a lesser-known face who recently made headlines for his outspokenness. Zhao Liu once called the coronavirus a bad cold. When confronted, he threatened to eradicate a Twitter user just like the coronavirus. Zhao Liu's colleagues in New Delhi are slightly more subtle. Ji Rong is the spokesperson of the Chinese embassy in India. On good days, Ji Rong lectures the Indian media to course correct and adhere to the One China principle. On bad days, she goes beyond the scope of diplomatic ambit and calls India's complaints ridiculous and eyeball-catching nonsense. This is nothing compared to the broader worldwide offensive. Cheng Jingye is China's ambassador to Australia. He likes to think of himself as an enforcer of the dragon's will. He follows boycott diplomacy. Cheng Jingye threatened Australia with an all-out boycott for demanding a probe into the coronavirus. From wine to beef, he wanted Chinese citizens to boycott everything Australian until the Australian government trembled and obeyed. In the United Kingdom, China's wolf warrior is Ma Hui. He is number 3 at the Chinese embassy in London. Ironically, his Twitter ID includes the World War Horse. Ma Hui lives up to this self-given title. This diplomat once described US leaders as despicable and wanted all of China to fight back their so-called stupidity. These were just some examples. A growing number of Chinese diplomats are increasingly taking to social media platforms. They fume at every question aimed at China's secrecy. They abuse every time their country is accused of mismanagement. And they threaten every time China's narrative is ripped apart. This is China's new army of tough-talking diplomats. An army of wolf warriors. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.